Hello, my friends. It's Andy coming to you from your Belinda for the Andy Falco Show. And my wife and I were on our way to church the other day, and we park. I get out. A man in a Tesla gets out and hands me a letter, an envelope, and says Andy Falco Jimenez, and I said yes, and he says here you go, and then and I was waiting because I was at church. We have people that we see right away that say hi or give us a hug, or people that want to talk to us about our testimony, or they've watched one of our interviews or our podcast or one of Hedia's videos, and so that's not unusual. But he got into his car and scurried away in his little Tesla, and leaves. Well, I open it up, and it turns out it's a letter written for Tricia Quintero. And I say written for because I know that I've heard that she's an educator in Anaheim school district. And I'm pretty sure an educator wouldn't write such a poorly written letter. So I'm sure somebody from the CTA wrote it for her because it sounds like something Marilyn Anderson has read from. So that's the same person probably writing both Marilyn Anderson's scripts and her Tricia Quintero's demand letter because it's just poorly written. But I'm going to respond to it because she asked me to, and so I will gladly do that. And so in this video, what I'm going to talk to you about, just so you know, to make sure and stay tuned, I'm going to do my very best to keep it as short as possible. But I'm going to apologize to Quintero. And then, who is Quintero's campaign team? We need to point that out because that's important for the the gist of this video. And then Quintero's political party and religion. She brings that up in her letter, so I want to make sure that I address what it is that she said there. And then, is Quintero with the teachers union or against? Because it's confusing. Like I told you, it doesn't seem like an educator wrote this because she goes to both. She goes both ways, apparently. And so, what is Quintero's platform? We don't know because now I got this letter and now I'm even more confused than I was before. And so will everybody else that has ever spoken to anybody from her campaign or maybe from her personally. And so I'm going to go through each one of those things and address them. Now, there's going to be some crossover because the way that it's written, it's going to cause me to have to come back to something I already talked about. So I apologize, but it's the only way that I can address what's written in this letter to her satisfaction, I believe. So I want to make sure and do that. So here's what the letter looked like, and that's you can see that it's fairly lengthy. It's not written like a normal cease and desist letter. There's no cover sheet. There's nothing. So it's just a bunch of paragraphs about some stuff, and I'm going to make sure and read those to you so that we can clearly address the things that I think that are important to her, because if they're important to her, they're important to me. So I'll make sure and do that. So the first three that I want to address, that is that she writes, first, I have never asserted that I was a conservative nor politically aligned with any party. I am in fact registered as no party preference. Okay. Second, I have never discussed my religious affiliation. Fantastic. So I understand that that's possible, but we've never heard from you. I've never seen you speak where they've allowed me to come because they don't tell you where you're going to be speaking until you sign up, and then they approve whether, at least as far as I know, I've only tried once, but I've heard from other people say, we can't go see her speak because they don't allow us to go to any of the meet and greets that she has unless we register first. So it's very strange. And there's no videos that I've been able to find. There may be one out there. I just haven't been able to find it yet. But so I don't know. I've not heard her talk about what her platform is, who she is, what she believes in, nothing like that. And so just to address my video, as a police officer and an investigator and still a expert witness in court, there's evidence, and then there's of course circumstantial evidence that we look at to make a determination about facts of a crime or some subject. And so we can look at who she's represented by, and she later on says that she's proudly represented by the teachers unions, which again I showed you before in previous videos that Planned Parenthood is a part of this cabal, and so you can make an assumption that she aligns with liberal, democratic, left ideology, because no one on the right, no one that's a conservative, no one that's a Christian would accept money from any of those organizations. I don't care who you are. If you are a born-again Christian, you would not accept money from either one of any of the ones that I just showed you. So we know for a fact that she can't be Christian, and that's important because I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. But do you see what I'm saying? So you see where she's getting her money from, that she's gladly supported by, and proudly enough to where she will write it in the letter, which is in the next couple slides. But that's who we have. That's the circumstantial evidence. Now, what ends up happening is that you have a group of people that are out there walking for her, because apparently she's not doing it, that are saying that when they go to a door where somebody's flying an American flag, if they're flying an American flag, they're assuming that they must be conservative, or maybe they have a cross on their door, which we've seen plenty of times as we're walking for some of the candidates. And so you make an assumption that the person who's going to answer the door is either a Christian, a conservative, or a Christian conservative, or what have you. And so what our team apparently is doing is that they answer the door, and then sometime during the conversation they're saying, oh, by the way, Tricia is Christian. Oh, by the way, Tricia is a conservative. And that is where this is coming from. So in my apology, what I want to say before I talk about her team is that I apologize that your team is speaking out of turn. And you need to reel them in, because either under your direction, you're telling them to be dishonest to the people that are answering the door, or they're winging it. Because you haven't given them direction. So I'm sorry that you have not taken control of your campaign team, and I'm sorry that they're giving false information, because that's really all that we've heard from the other three candidates, which was Quintero and Anderson and Jansen. It's all lies. Nothing that those campaign people are saying are true. We're not hearing from any of the candidates, so we have no idea what it is they're saying. But it is the people that are representing you and saying that they speak for you that are saying that you're conservative and saying that you're a Christian. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. So I don't believe what I said in that video is wrong, because they are representatives of you as a public person who's running for office. It is up to you to get control of these people. And you should know, I'm sure you know by now, again, either you've told them to say that to wherever door they go to, is to say that that's what I'm for. If you see a cat, say that I love cats. If you see a dog, say that I love dogs. If you see a marsupio, say I love marsupials. I don't know. But that could be the plan you made in your campaign meetings, and say, listen, we're going to make sure that we meet everybody's needs. And we're just going to pretend that I'm conservative and a Christian and all these things when necessary, but to the other doors, I'm liberal, or I'm not party affiliated, or what have you. So I am sorry that your team is doing that, but again, I don't know if you told them to do that or if they're doing it on their own. But it's up to you to make sure and get control of your campaign team. So the next point. So who's your spokespeople? Who are the people that are saying this? Well, this is the list I have so far of the people that I've heard that have spoken for you in one manner or another, either by knocking on doors, sending letters, sending text messages, sending emails, social media posts on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. But these people, Janice Lim, Anita Lee, Bonnie Conte, Esther Kim, Karen Lawson, Patricia Hanzo, who is pictured there on the right, protesting in Esperanza. What a hoot. Did I say Julie Sicard? Sam Majovich. Sorry, I can't say that name. D. Lawrence Radler, Anita Lee, and Esther Kim. Again, these are just some of the names that I've been able to sort out that are saying these things. They're the ones who are saying that you're Christian. They're the ones who are saying that you're conservative, and yet you're accepting money from the teachers union. So this is so far. If it's not your team, you need to make sure and let us know, saying, I don't know who these people are and why they're lying about me. Or you contact these people and say, hey, can you stop saying that I'm conservative? Can you stop saying that I'm Christian? Because I absolutely am not. So I would say that it's more incumbent upon you to make sure and get control of your campaign team, if that's your campaign team, and make sure. So I wanted to give you the names of the people that I know for sure that are speaking for you, and they say that they're speaking for you as part of your campaign. So it's important that you talk to them. And if they are lying even about that, they can't tell the truth. So I would not be shocked if Tricia, you came to me or called me or texted me or emailed me and said, you know what, I don't even know those people, and I don't know why they were saying that about me, but that's I contacted them and told them to stop doing that, and I took immediate action. That would be great because everybody's confused. The community is confused because I've had community members say, "Oh, I heard Tricia's conservative, and she's only going to make sure that X, Y, and Z are not happening, and she's going to go in line with, Leandra if Leandra's still on the board, and she's going to go along with, Sean Youngblood." I'm sorry, he may be gone. Todd, there we go, Todd Frazier. And so I'm going to vote right along with them on these nonsense things that are happening. So that would be great. But again, getting thousands of dollars from the teachers union does not make me comfortable, but that's the case. So with that being said, let's go to the next slide. And it says, third, I have never denied being supported by the Association of Placentia Linda Educators, APLE. Contrary to your assertion, I am proud to be supported by a union. Again, that is not what your people are saying. They're saying that there's a couple of them. It may not be all of those people, but some of them said, hey, she's not even a part of the teachers union. She doesn't support what it is that they stand for. Okay. So that's why, again, on that video, I said there are people, or I didn't say those words. I said, she claims, again, when you have somebody speaking for you, then it is legal for me to say that she claims, because we have the campaign, which is your spokesperson. It's like the press secretary for the president. She is speaking for the president. Your campaign team is speaking for you. And so just to make sure it's clear that nobody's making this stuff up, and it's very clear that she is part of the union. In other words, she's getting thousands of dollars donated to her, Tricia Quintero, is that you can see the bottom of that sign. And then you see this is the APLE website. And it clearly says APLE, CTA, Tricia Quintero, Marilyn Anderson, Misty Jansen, all are backed by the teachers union, which means that they are going to typically vote with the teachers union. That is the inference that has to be made. If you're getting thousands of dollars from the union, the expectation is that you're going to vote along union lines, that you're going to support the kidnapping of children if the parents don't accept the fact that they identify as a horse. And so it goes hand in hand when you're getting money from the teachers union. It is obvious. You're not going to take thousands of dollars from the union and say, okay, I hate the union, but I take your money, I'm going to steal it from you, and I'm not going to support anything that you're going to do. That is crazy. And so why this is important is because the union, and I went through this, and I'm just going to share my screen. I went through this in a previous video, so I go in greater detail. So if you want to see in more detail what all this is all about, but this is just a tag that goes on a lanyard where they carry the bell schedule on their neck. And so anybody that's in the union, the CTA, APLE, NEA, they're encouraged to wear this so that anytime they have a kid who's they can think that they can change from whatever they are to something else, they want to let them know that, hey, I'm a safe person in a safe space. I won't tell your parents. Here, scan this QR code, and I'm going to send you to a site that's going to give you all kinds of great information on how you can transition or how you can join clubs that will support you and affirm you and all this nonsense. And so that is what is happening. So I'm going to take my slideshow away for 1 second. And I'm going to bring over the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that you see these are the websites. I don't want you to even mistake or think or accuse me of any kind of deep fake or anything like this. But this is the APLE website, and I'll scroll up here and you'll see that the CTA, NEA, and APLE are connected. They are in fact a cabal. 100%. Okay, so you need to understand this. The APLE, CTA, NEA are all part of the cabal. That lanyard, that card that I showed you with the QR code, that is a representative of what they expect Tricia Quintero to support. And let me just go to the CTA website. The CTA website, they have, I don't know if they have anything about education on here, but only thing they have is LGBTQ, CRT, SEL, information on their website. That's the only thing that they are interested in. They're not interested in educating children. They're not interested in helping teachers be better at teaching your kids how to do math or teaching your kids how to read better. None of that is on here. And it just goes on and on. It is really kind of strange. Why wouldn't a teachers union be interested in education? I have no idea. But they aren't. They are only interested in all this. And the important thing to remember is that there's such a small percentage of kids who fall into this category. There may be 2 kids at El Dorado that I know of, that I've heard about. And actually, there's only 1. But there may be 2 or 3. And so I don't know why you would spend all of your time on something that only 1% of the kids are involved in at any given school. So it's kind of nuts. So let's go to the NEA, where that QR code takes you. The NEA only has resources for, again, the same subject matter. And you can see here on the left where it says NEA CTA. And so this is why it's a concern that you, Tricia Quintero, are accepting thousands of dollars from the teachers union, because this is what only thing they care about. And so that only goes to mean that it is quite possible that it is the only thing that you are going to care about. We go on to this next slide here, which this comes from that previous page that I just showed you. And this is where they want teachers to teach the children in elementary school, middle school, and high school about queering sex education. And this is a pamphlet that they hand out, and it talks to kids about anal sex, about bondage, about sex acts that don't get enough play, like rimming. Why would you want to tell an elementary school about rimming? Because you don't think it gets enough play. Domination, sadomasochism. If you want to hear my story about my experience of as a police officer, the crime scenes of the results of sadomasochism, you'll want to watch that video. I'm going to keep this short, so I'm not going to go into a long story. Sexting, they're teaching kids how to take naked pictures and sext them to their friends in elementary school, middle school, and high school. Don't let them say that they're not doing it. This is all part of CRT, SEL, DEI. Don't let them lie to you, because that they will. Fingering, muffing, which I don't even know what that is. Outer course, fisting, another dangerous act, which I went on plenty of crime scenes where that kind of stuff took place. So let me go back to my slideshow. And so, do you see what I'm saying? She's accepting thousands of dollars. Tricia, you're accepting thousands of dollars from the teachers unions, the cabal, and you are going to try to now tell people that you're proud of it, but we don't need to be concerned about what it is you're going to do on the school board, about parent notifications, about the horrible books that we've already found in our school libraries that are pornography, that do not belong there. It is against the law to put pornography in front of children, but yet they were doing it. The librarians were doing it. We did find it. It has been read at the school board meetings where the previous superintendent yelled and stopped everything because it's too graphic, but yet it's in an elementary school or middle school or high school library. Okay, and so we just need to understand that you are for the union, but what? So let's go on to the next slide. So she writes here, I would have written off these 3 false assertions. What they weren't false assertions. This is what your team is saying. So I want to make sure that is clear. As ignorant political hyperbole. No, that is not anything of the sort. It's what we in the community are being told. Until you took it too far in your rant about parental notification policy starting at 10:05 minute mark. She'll vote for allowing men into your children's, your daughter's bathrooms and your locker rooms. Or their locker room, sorry. She doesn't care if they compete against your, sorry. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on. Compete against your daughters in sports. She wants CRT back in our schools, even though we banned it. She doesn't want parents' rights because she doesn't believe you need to know what's going on with your children when they're going to school. She wants the state to be able to kidnap your child and castrate them or lop off their breasts. That's what Tricia Quintero is for, because why not? And then she goes on to say, although I consider all the false statements you made to be defamatory, your statement about my views concerning the parental notification policy went way too far, specifically when you stated she wants the state to be able to kidnap your child and castrate them or to lop off their breasts. That's what Tricia Quintero is for, because why not? And then she says, accordingly, hereby demand that you immediately cease and desist from making any further false statements and that you retract said statements, publicly apologize, I did earlier, and remove the offensive video. Now, I can't remove the video. It's not offensive. It is factually based on what we are being told in the community, that you are conservative, that you're a Christian, and that you are not aligned with the teachers union. However, your signs, now your letter, thank you for affirming that you are proudly supported by the teachers unions, the complete cabal. You can't just say APLE because APLE is CTA. CTA is NEA because I've shown you the proof that every one of their website pages have all three of them on there. It is a cabal. That is exactly what it is. So what is the problem with being supported proudly by the teachers union is that you have to go in line, like as I said earlier. An example of someone who is supported by the teachers union is this gentleman right here, Scott Wiener, who gets tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, from the teachers union, the Planned Parenthood, and the complete cabal, as I told you. And this is who he is. He votes and creates bills that harm not only children, but the community. Wiener authored bill to discriminate loitering, protecting pimps, and enabling sex traffickers. Wiener co-authored bills ending the mandated reporting to abuse of women unless abused with a gun. So you can abuse a woman, according to Scott Wiener, and quite possibly Tricia Quintero, because this is a teachers union, Planned Parenthood supported bill, that you can abuse them, but just not with a gun. You can't stick a gun in their mouth. Don't do that, because guns are bad. Okay. Wiener authored bill allowing sex offenders to avoid registry if sex with minor within 10 years of age. So if a 25-year-old man has sex with a 15-year-old boy, that's okay. Or let's just even reduce it down just a little more. If a 20-year-old man has sex with a 10-year-old boy, that's okay, according to Jeffrey Wiener. But this is a guy that's supported by, like Tricia Quintero, by the teachers union cabal. Now I'm going to skip over to just a really quick list here. Holding his book, How to Legally Kidnap Children. I don't believe that's a real book. I think that's that I think is a fake. Now it could be real. I don't know. Let's just go through these. These are specific to our children in our schools, which Tricia Quintero is proudly a part of, because she is saying that she's part of the CTA and proud to be supported by them. AB 957 penalizes parents who don't affirm a child's trans identity. AB 1955 prohibiting parental notification policies. SB 107 state-sponsored kidnapping to transition children. SB 145 reduced penalty for offenders who sodomize children as young as 14. SB 8, these are actual laws, by the way. SB 866 allows kids to consent to medical decisions without parents. That's parent notification issue. SB 239 reduces penalty for deliberately spreading AIDS. How crazy is that? AB 1825 protections for X-rated materials in public libraries. AB 2442 expediting licensing for transgender service providers. That is what the money that is given to these teachers unions by the teachers is going towards. Those bills, the support and the cost of making sure that those bills are passed. They're paying off the representatives. They're paying for Scott Wiener. They are paying for Tricia Quintero. They're paying for Misty Jansen. They're paying for Marilyn Anderson to make sure that they are part of the teamwork that puts those bills through to the state of California and into our education system so that they can be used against parents. Understand that not having parents on the school board is a huge mistake. If you vote for any of these teachers unions cabal people onto our board, you will have the teachers in charge of the teachers and the teachers in charge of the school board. Parents will have no voice. Because why? Because they're making sure that parents that do want to voice out their opinion are looked at as terrorists, as we've heard. The FBI has put out a document, a memo, that parents who speak out at school board meetings should be considered terrorists. So by taking parents out of the school board, like Leandra Blades, Todd Frazier, Sean Youngblood, and who we thought Marilyn Anderson was when we elected her. She's not. She's part of the union cabal now. Is that we want to make sure that parents are the checks and balances that we need. Every government should have checks and balances. The United States of America used to have checks and balances, but that kind of is not happening right now. But you want to make sure that, the parents have a voice. That's the school board. The union has a voice through the teachers and what the teachers need and want and their pay and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the superintendent who's in charge of creating amazing programs, making sure they get implemented, make sure that everybody's doing their job, and the hiring and firing of stupid people, the hiring of smart people, the firing of stupid people, and that's their job, the superintendent and the executive team. All of them have their part, but they're all part of checks and balances, so that if one of them comes up with a stupid idea, then the trustees say, you know what, that's not a good idea, let's not do that, let's not fund that. The teachers union, hey, let's do this for the teachers within our school, and the school board says, you know, that sounds like a really good idea. We shouldn't have 4 teachers teaching 4 different classes in one room trying to talk over each other. You know what we'll do for you teachers? We'll put up walls, and that's what Leander Blades did. You know what? The kids over at El Dorado High School have to travel to Valencia or to Parks and to other elementary schools and either walk there or drive there, which is a danger, number one, and it is a hassle. Let's put lights up. Well, for 30 years, we've been trying to get lights up. It can't be done. So Leander Blade says, oh, no, it can. And with Dr. Alex Chernis and Todd Frazier and Sean Youngblood, lights at El Dorado. Do you see how that works? So you have parents that say, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. Why hasn't it been done? Because the union has been in charge, and the union doesn't care. They worry more about raises for the superintendents for some awful reason. They didn't get any raises for the teachers, but they got raises for the superintendents and the executive staff. When you're talking about the previous cabal of people that were in there. But strangely enough, it was Leander Blades, Sean Youngblood, and Todd Frazier, and Dr. Alex Chernis who gave the teachers a raise, not the teachers union. Very strange, but that's what parents do. The parents want great teachers, so they want to give teachers raises because those teachers that are doing a great job, we want to applaud them and want to make sure that they get paid and will stay and have all the benefits that they need. All right. Although I consider all the fault, let me just visit this again. Although I consider all the false statements you made to be defamatory, your statement about my views concerning the parental notification policy went way too far, specifically when you stated she wants the state to be able to kidnap your child and castrate them or lop off their breasts. That's what Tricia Quintero is for, because why not? I know I read that before, but that's important. I wanted to make sure and reemphasize this fact right here, because this is really interesting, because she admits that that those things are against the law, which I love. And that's great, Tricia. I'm glad that you see that because she writes here, your statement was knowingly or recklessly false, made with apparent malice. No, it wasn't. Because the teachers union does not want parent notifications. They absolutely do not. So they're assuming that by giving you $1,000 that you will recall the parent notification, that you'll bring back CRT. That's what their hope is. That's their whole agenda. So why would they give you thousands of dollars if they don't think that you're going to do that? That's what has to be assumed. So continuing it with her letter here, she writes, the actions you claimed I support amount to serious violations of the California Penal Code. Yes, these acts would at very least constitute aggravated assault, PC 245, aggravated battery, PC 243, D, kidnapping, 207, and mayhem, PC 203. Great, you got those laws correct. Then there's others. There's the other one about pornography. There's just about 4 or 5 others that I would have included in there. But I'm glad Tricia Quintero sees that the union is supportive of acts and measures and laws and bills that are in violation of the state penal code. Aggravated assault, kidnapping children from their parents so that you can then assault our kids without our permission by cutting off their penis and their balls, by cutting off their breasts, by putting chest binders, by giving them chemicals that will alter their hormones. All these things are assault, kidnapping, and in some cases murder because some of the children have died. And so thank you, Tricia, for pointing that out. So it is. And I don't know what to think. Do you see how this is confusing to the community? That you say one thing, but you're doing something else. That you say one thing, but your team is doing something else. This is the clearest part of this letter that really says, I don't know what Tricia, I don't know who she is or what she stands for, but I do know that she is accepting money from thousands of dollars from the teachers union cabal. And here she's admitting that everything that they want to do is against the law and horrific and damaging to children. It's mayhem. It's assault. It's killing our kids. Some kids are dying slowly, and some kids are dying on, on self-afflicted suicide because the teachers union is creating this mess, and doing so happily, and spending millions of dollars to do so. If you do not immediately cease and desist from making these knowingly false statements and retract those that have already been communicated to the public, I will have no option other than to file a civil action against you, seeking economic damages, injunctive relief, and any other available legal remedies. If you fail to take action within 10 days of receiving this letter, I will presume that you have no intention of taking corrective action, and I will be forced to seek a judicial remedy. Okay, so then I have questions for you then, Tricia. Then I need you so that I can, take some action. I'm not sure that I can do all of that, but let me get these questions answered because I'm more confused now than I was before, and I'm sure the community is too. So, are you against the NEA, CTA, and APLE's LGBTQ and BLM agenda? Because I see over at Anaheim that you are a part of an organization that is the BLM organization in Anaheim. And your boss is one of the leaders for that organization. So are you against all that? Because everything I just talked about is supported by these organizations. So I just want to know. It's a simple answer, yes or no answer. Are you for all of these organizations or are you against? You can call me, you can do a video, you can send me another letter. You can have your stalker stalk me and then hand me another letter. Are you against the NEA, CTA, and APLE's sexual indoctrination? Yes or no? That's all we need to know. Are you for parents' rights at PYUSD? In other words, if you are elected, will you take away those parents' rights or will you leave them alone and keep them? Are you against men and boys competing in girls' sports? I want to know that. Are you against men and boys competing in girls' sports? Are you against men and girls' bathrooms and locker rooms? Do you believe that kidnapping children from their parents for transitioning is in fact kidnapping? Do you believe what you just wrote, that that is kidnapping? Because that is not the view of the APLE. Do you believe castration and top surgery against the parents' wishes is aggravated assault and mayhem? It is, but I just want to know what you think. Because this is what it looks like when you have a young child, a girl, who decided because a counselor, a teacher, a janitor talked her into the nonsense that at this age she can make a decision to lop off her breasts. And that's what it looks like when you do that. So are you for that? Do you like that? How about this boy who had his penis and balls cut off because of a teacher, a counselor, or the bus driver, or anybody else who decided, we're going to keep this from the parents, and he's going to go in surgery and have this happen. A teenager. This is a teenager in high school who did this. Are you for pornography in our schools? This is an example from this guy that happens to be running as vice president. And he said, if you are banning books, you're on the wrong side of history. Are you going to be on his side of this nonsense? This is in an elementary school library. This is what we found in our school, gender queer. And it says, this is the visual I've been picturing, but I can't feel anything this much hotter when it was only in my imagination. Yeah, so this you're saying, Tricia, or you're not, let us know. Are you saying that this belongs in elementary school libraries, even middle school libraries, or even high school libraries? Is this what belongs in there? So I will wait for those responses. Let me know what your response is for those questions. You could also let me know if you spoke to your team about giving out false information, because again, my video is not wrong. My video is factual in that your spokespeople, the people speaking for you, which is essentially you speaking, that you said the things that I said on that video. And so that is true. My video is factual. It is not a lie. I did not make anything up. I don't have time for that. Because it's very difficult getting through all the information that I receive about you in particular, and Joey Davis and all the rest of the people that are out there that are, it's just, there's so much that I don't have to make anything up. These are the things that are arriving to me, and I'm simply reporting what it is that is being sent to me. All right, so that's it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.